If this keeps happening for another year, they're not gonna have players. Howdy folks, how you doing? My name is Pineapple, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a kind of different video. I do a lot of these unscripted videos now. I probably should stop announcing them as unscripted, but we're gonna be talking about the connectivity issues inside of Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Online Beta. I wanna stress this is a beta video, so if you're watching this very far into the future, I'm sure it won't be as prevalent for you as it is now, but I'm gonna give a little bit of context and then we're gonna talk about it for a little while. Please leave me your comments down below. I'm just curious what you guys think about this. So starting off, I want to roll back a little bit and say this has always been an issue. Since the very first day I got disconnected and it said, alert, you have been disconnected due to a fault on Rockstar Game Services, or whatever. Basically, alert, Rockstar dropped you. And it was cool to me that they said, hey, this is on our end. You have been disconnected because of us. This is a beta. Like I thought that was very nice so that, you didn't have confused Timmy running over to his router and being like, Mom, I can't connect to the Red Dead Online beta. You know, I don't know why Timmy was 100, but still, that's my thought process, is that I thought that was really cool of them. Go forward 3-4 updates. It got better. I would argue up until about 2 weeks ago, if it was 1 in 100, it wasn't. It was like 35 out of 100. But if it was 1 out of 100, it is now, after the new update, 50 out of 100 or 60 out of 100 chance to get booted, if that makes sense. That might have been a weird analogy, but I'm just rolling with it. It's so much more prevalent now than it was 2 weeks ago, and it reminds me of some of the first few builds of the game that we played on. So my thought is that with the patch that they rolled out for the Xbox One animals that weren't spawning and like all that, like the horses and everything, they rolled the game back, I think, for both systems pretty substantially, and then added in some of their new changes, and then like re-added some changes, but they missed a bunch of stuff. For example, in an earlier build of the game, if you called your horse and somebody saw you get on it, depending on a coin flip essentially, they might think you were stealing your own horse, and then you'd have a witness, and then you'd either have to try to kill that witness, but if they're in town, you can't kill that witness because you're gonna make 50 other witnesses. But anyway, that bug was patched out and then now it is back. So that's one of the reasons why I think they rolled back to an earlier version of the game. And I think that's also where all of the newfound connectivity issues, because I'm saying quote unquote newfound, because they were already prevalent in the game and then they got not fixed. I don't want to say fixed or patched because they were still a big issue, but now they are back to how big of an issue they were previously. And that's a problem for a lot of reasons, but I think this needs to be Rockstar's first priority, and I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to pose an interesting problem. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you guys to comment on is, do you think this is on Rockstar's radar of like, top 3 problems, let's say, top 3 things they need to do? Or do you think that those spots are, more held by things like introducing weapons that have been introduced in other Red Dead games to capitalize on nostalgia for gold? Whatever you guys think. That's the only other prompt I'll give. But yeah, so please let me know. But moving forward, my thought is that if they don't fix this, this is going to be the thing that breaks it for everybody. Like, I'm not a Red Dead Online beta outrageous. Like, there's a lot of channels that make their bread and butter off of talking about how this game is dead and how, XYZ, and not to say they're necessarily wrong. Like, if you look at the number of Twitch players, we have Twitch streamers streaming the game at any given time, or whatever, we're pretty low on the totem pole at the moment. So I'm definitely not saying that, for example, Red Dead Online is not dead in the water, because I think it kinda is, to be fair, but I don't make those videos. I don't make big, outrageous, videos. I make these videos that kind of break down the issue, maybe why it's happening, is it going to get fixed, what's the likelihood of it, instead of being like, this game sucks. I think this is a little more productive. I think it's a little bit better use of your guys' time, etc. However, this video is probably the most outrageous level that I've gone to, because it's frustrating. I don't think it's on their radar, frankly. Like, I don't mean to break down the whole like analysis thing that I was doing, but like, I don't think it's on their radar of things that they need to fix immediately. I think they think, especially because it's a beta, that it's acceptable, and the fact that they again patched the Cougar dupe glitch and all, like, obviously the Cougar dupe glitch, everybody thought, or all the YouTubers at least, thought that you were going to get your money reset. So I at least wasn't trying to make a video telling people to do it. I know Hazard thought everybody's money was going to get reset. I completely agreed. Jowers also thought, if that's how you say, is that how you pronounce your name, bro? Jowers also thought that, and I totally agreed. And then nobody's money got reset. People have like 22K, and I was like, ah, shit. But I don't know, better safe than sorry, right? But they patch stuff like that, but it's still impossible to stay in a lobby. And it's frustrating. Like, dude, you keep adding, you keep messing with the game in nice to haves, essentially, as far as a game goes. Because what does a game need? What does a game need? It needs to run, right? It needs to run well, I guess. That's pretty much all you could say. And then Red Dead Online doesn't do that, but they're adding things like new guns and new game modes and other stuff to keep people interested, but the game itself doesn't stay running. Like, it's hard to stay connected to the servers. And when I say running, I get that, like, the game doesn't crash as much, but I've seen a lot of pictures on Reddit of blue screens that say Red Dead Redemption 2, and I've gotten 5 or 6 myself. So it happens. An online game's definition of working is connecting to the internet. Like, I have gigabit internet, pretty fancy setup, and it's hard for me to stay connected. So what is it like on normal Wi-Fi? You know what I mean? What is it like on the Wi-Fi I've had all my life until I started doing YouTube professionally? And for people who aren't doing YouTube like this, I bet it's absurdly hard to get in lobbies or even just get anything done, because in my mind, a lot of what I'm doing is based around recording, so I need to hop in, do something, and bounce. If you're a player who's got 2 hours to play, maybe in a week, and then you get disconnected 5 times in 30 minutes, which is not uncommon, that's a big issue. That's game breaking. That's, fan base crumbling stuff. Like, if you can't keep your game online, people aren't going to play it. And this doesn't happen in GTA Online. This isn't a problem for them. And I don't know if I do know. Red Dead Online is a much more complicated game to host. Still, I don't know to what degree. So I understand that there's definitely issues, and it's probably on a completely different set of servers and XYZ and all that kind of stuff. But I even remember articles when the game came out talking about what servers were hosting Red Dead, and they were supposed to be like awesome. And then now no one can stay connected to them. So it's either software, I say software loosely as in like the code of the game, or they didn't invest in the server equipment, which I find highly unlikely given GTA Online's success. So frankly, it seems like a lack of effort. If not a lack of effort, a misguided appropriation of resources by a company. Because Take-Two's stock fell 15% in February. We talked about this a few days ago in the media backlash video, but Take-Two's stock fell pretty substantially in February. Like, 15% is a lot, especially when you just sold Red Dead Redemption 2 as many times as they did, right? So why is their stock falling? You can attribute it to a lot of things, GTA Online, slowing down, whatever. But mainly, honestly, because of all the backlash for Red Dead Online and the lack of gold bar purchases. That's why they stressed in their earnings call that they were going to have more gold bar purchases going forward. Is there new stuff coming to Red Dead Online? Of course there is. Unfortunately, I think the stuff that's coming to Red Dead Online is going to make the game less stable. And because they're not focusing on keeping servers up, they're going to have an issue. I mean, hey, maybe there's completely separate teams working within the Red Dead Online bubble, and there's purely technical teams and there's purely content teams, and they don't even have to interact with each other, and they can just work. I mean, actually, saying that out loud, that might be a really bad solution, because then they don't know what's coming, and then it's hard to be ready for it. But maybe they've got, more resources than I'm assuming they do. I'm assuming the people who are like working on putting player blips in are the same people who would be working on connectivity issues at a certain extent. Like, I get that there's IT people and like there's physical tech involved and all that kind of stuff, but I would assume the people who are coding the game are still the people coding the game. That's got to be a difficult spot to be in when Take-Two's stock is falling and they need people to buy more gold bars, so they have to be pushing things like the Evans repeater and, spoiler alert, I think the LeMat revolver. I've got a video coming out on that soon. They've got to be doing all these things, quote unquote have to. They obviously don't have to. But I mean, I think, yes, the game is going to get better, but I don't know that it's going to be easier to stay in lobbies anytime soon. And I think that is one of the biggest issues that people have with Red Dead Online is the connectivity. And I don't necessarily know that it gets reported as much. I mean, when that Rockstar video, my Dear Rockstar video, finally comes out, believe me, it's a lot. So don't shame me in the comments for it not being out yet, because it's a big video. But when that video does finally come out, and I do finally send them that thing, the majority of the stuff is not about connectivity issues. It's about, actual content, game-breaking flaws, blah, blah, blah. It's not about server connectivity. And my comments are overwhelmingly, like on my other videos and stuff, about the same exact thing. I think you know, everybody is assuming that this is going to get better, so we're not like talking about it. And I think it's the wrong move, man. I think we need to be looking at this in a critical light, because if we can't connect to the game, none of us are going to keep playing it at a certain point, right? Like if this keeps happening for another year, they're not going to have players. So like I can only get disconnected in a showdown match so many times. Thank God I haven't been recording at any time I've been disconnected in a showdown match, because I can only, like, if I was recording or if I was streaming, or that, like, it makes it impossible to do almost any of the stuff that gives your game more promotion content wise as a creator. So, you know, Red Dead Online needs YouTubers essentially to make videos about it so that it continues to have impact within the community. The things that we need, the bare minimum, like the functioning game and like some stuff to make content over, like you know, doing a mission or whatever. These bare minimum things are not fully refined, but you best believe you can buy anything with gold. That's where I'm at right now. I wanted to talk about the connectivity thing. I feel like I've gone pretty in depth on it. Let me know if this was kind of what you guys were looking for as far as like video stuff. I say that a lot, but it is helpful because the people who do comment that like, yeah, that was good, or no, that wasn't, it actually is pretty helpful. So thank you guys for those of you who do that. Thanks to everybody who's been subscribing recently. I was gonna make a video for 2,000 subscribers, and then literally the next day we were at 2,100 or 2,150. So thank you guys so much. Like I'm like speechless. It's insane. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys very, very soon with a brand new video.